Messiah ben Yosef, Origins, number 2. In our last post, we saw how rabbinic literature features the figure of Messiah ben Yosef, the slain Galilean Messiah. We saw that his origins lie in the seed of the woman promised to Adam and Eve in Genesis chapter 3, and in the shepherd rock from Shaddai promised to Joseph in Genesis 49. But it is in the book of Deuteronomy that these two promises are really joined together. On the plains of Moab, Moses pronounces his great valedictory blessing on Israel. He has much more to say to the tribes of Joseph than to any other tribe. And at the end of his colossal blessing on Joseph, he says this: "The firstborn of his shore is Joseph's majesty, and the horns of a ram are his horns. With them he shall gore the peoples all as one, even to the ends of the earth. And these are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and these are the thousands of Manasseh." Here Moses compares the tribes of Joseph to two oxen, the shore and the ram. But of course, it's not about oxen at all. It is really about an individual, a hero, a descendant of Joseph, who will be Joseph's majesty or glory. And this hero is compared to an ox, or more precisely, to two different species of oxen, the shore and the ram. The shore and the ram are very different beasts. The shore is the bos taurus, or domestic ox. He is a bearer of burdens, a slave. But even more, Joseph's shore is the firstborn of a shore. In Israelite law, the firstborn of a shore was born under sentence of a violent sacrificial death, as we read in Numbers 18:17. "The firstborn of a shore you shall not redeem. They are holy, sprinkle their blood upon the altar." No Israelite could fail to understand the bloody implications of being born the firstborn of a shore. The ram, on the other hand, is quite a different beast. He is the bos primigenius, or aurochs, the Eurasian wild ox. The aurochs is now extinct, but to those who knew it in olden days, the aurochs was a truly fearsome beast. Auroch skeletons have been found standing 2 meters tall at the shoulder, with the tips of the great black horns rising 3 meters in the air. Julius Caesar wrote about them, saying, "They are only a little smaller than elephants, but they have the appearance, colour and shape of a bull. Their strength is very great, and also their speed. They spare neither man nor beast that they see. They cannot endure the sight of men, nor ever be tamed." All were in awe of this monstrous beast. From Neolithic Lascaux to Babylon's Ishtar Gate, it ramped and roared its way through the iconography of the ancient world. Balaam bin Beor spoke of its splendour. Even the Eternal marvelled at its truculence, and rabbinic tales of its immense size abound. Now, of course, the Re'em, unlike cousin Shor, did not fear violent death. Few would meddle with it, nor had it any place at all in Israel's sacrificial cult. So there is a total contrast between the firstborn of a Shor and a Re'em. What one is, the other is not. One is lowly, enslaved, and bound to slaughter. The other is sovereign, free, and bound to life. Therefore, Joseph's shore and Re'em represent one individual who is to undergo transformation. But even in his lowly state, Joseph's shore was intrinsically glorious. As it is said, he is Joseph's majesty. And that is why he is finally transformed and given the majestic horns of a ram. And being crowned with the horns of the ram, the humble shore becomes the ram. Now, this isn't just my own idea. Here is 1 Enoch 90, dating from the 2nd century BC, which says, "And I saw that a white bull was born, with large horns, and all the beasts of the field and all the birds of the air feared him, and made petition to him all the time. And I saw till all their generations were transformed, and they all became white bulls, and the first among them became an aurochs. The aurochs was a great beast, and had great black horns on its head, and the Lord of the sheep rejoiced over them and over all the oxen." But how does the shore become the ram? How does one destined to sacrifice become triumphant? Clearly, it's not by evading his fate. Dereliction of duty is not the hero's way. No, the path to glory must be through the destiny of sacrifice and death. Does this then mean some kind of post-mortem resurgence? Well, perhaps. In the time of Jacob's clan, the people of the Nile Delta already worshipped some form of the bull deity Apis, whose earthly bull representatives were sacrificed and buried in the belief that they would rise again to divine estate. Likewise, in Ugarit, just north of the land of Canaan, the bull calf Baal was dying, rising and ruling already in the mid-2nd millennium BC. So it seems quite likely that Moses was indeed speaking of the post-mortem resurgence of Joseph's suffering ox. But who is this hero of whom Moses speaks? Well, the easy bit is the horns. We are told plainly, they are his tribesmen. They are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. But who is the one who wields these horns? The rabbinic sages offer 3 answers. The first is Joseph. The blameless lad was forced into slavery, pierced by cruelty, and buried in pits and dungeons. Yet his affliction gave life to Israel. Then he was raised to freedom, life, and sovereignty. Yet there is one snag. The firstborn of Joseph's shore cannot be Joseph himself. It must be someone else. So could the firstborn shore perhaps be Joseph's descendant Joshua. Joshua sprang from the line of Ephraim, from Joseph, and Joshua too knew lowliness and exaltation. Though he was an Ephraimite prince, though the sun stood still at his command, he did not join the rebellious, but he served Moses until he was appointed prince and commander of Israel. Like Joseph, his sacrificial humiliation gave life to Israel, and he rose to honor. Yet again, there is a difficulty. Joshua did not go the peoples all as one to the ends of the earth. He merely fulfilled his own remit, the conquest of the 7 nations of Canaan. So there is, therefore, a third interpretation, and this is the most popular of all among the rabbis. The firstborn shore is a Mashiach, like Joshua, who is yet to come. In fact, such a figure is implicit in the text itself, from the discrepancy between Moses' prophecy and the limited nature of Joshua's conquest. For while Joshua's conquest was modest in extent, Moses' hero was promised the conquest of the whole earth. And so the idea inevitably arose of a greater Joshua who would fulfill the promise entirely, namely, Messiah ben Yosef. And so Moses' prophecy gathers up and unites the prophecies of Genesis 3 and 49. Just as the seed of the woman is to suffer and then save mankind, just as the shepherd rock is to be buried and betrayed, like Joseph, before he rules, so Joseph's firstborn shore is to suffer and die as a sacrifice before he reappears again, sovereign and free, to conquer the world. So Messiah ben Yosef is no rabbinic invention. He is already there, dying, rising, and conquering in the Torah Moshe Rabbeinu, in the great blessings of Bereshit and Devarim.